The nature and nurture of behavior. Genes are the biological chemical units of heredity that make up the chromosomes, a segment of DNA capable of synthesizing protein. DNA is a complex molecule containing the genetic information that makes up the chromosomes. Chromosomes are a thread-like structure made up of DNA molecules that contain the genes. They prove the blueprint for protein molecules, the building blocks of our physical and behavioral development. Evolutionary psychologists reason that if organisms vary, if only some mature to produce surviving offspring, and if certain inherited behavior tendencies assist that survival, then nature must select those tendencies. They believe this helps explain gender differences in sexuality. Natural selection, the principle that among the range of inherited trait variations, those that lead to increased reproduction and survival will most likely be passed on to the succeeding generations. In a Canadian study, 80% of 2,350 customers of adult-only video stores were male, and in a careful survey of 3,432 U.S. 18 to 59-year-olds, 48% of women but only 25% of men cited affection the first time of sexual intercourse. Behavior genetics, the study of genetic and environmental influence on behavior. Environment is any non-genetic influence from parental nutrition to the people and things around us. One type of study would be on identical and fraternal twins. Identical twins are twins who develop from a single fertilized egg that's split into two, creating two genetically identical organisms. But fraternal twins who develop from separate eggs are genetically no different than brother and sister. Temperament is a person's characteristic emotional reactivity and intensity. Heritability is the proportion of variations among individuals that we can attribute to genes. The heritability of a trait may vary depending on the range of populations and environments studied. Interaction. The dependence of the effect of one factor, such as environment, for example family size, on another factor, such as heredity. For example, if two identical twins were adopted by two different families, one child might only sing in the shower, but the other may be open to singing in front of a large crowd. This would be due to the family size of the families that adopted them. Molecular genetics is a subfield of biology that studies the molecular structure and function of genes. This was first used to determine the gender of a baby before birth. Genetic tests can now reveal who is at risk for at least a dozen diseases. Before long, researchers may also identify genes that influence depression, alcoholism, and obesity. Environmental influence. Shared environmental influence that siblings typically share account for less than 10% of children's personality differences. Prenatal environment. Identical twins with separated placentas have less psychological traits than same placenta twins. Experience and brain development. Experience helps develop the brain's neural connections. Even if forgotten, early learning helps prepare our brains for thought and language. A child's enriched environment activates and preserves neural connections. Peer influence. Nature predisposes us to be influenced by peers, since we are destined to play, work, and mate with peers. Part of the similarity to peers may result from a selection effect, as kids seek out peers with similar attitudes and interests. Culture, the enduring behaviors, ideas, attitudes, and traditions shared by a large group of people and transmitted from one generation to the next. Cultural norms are rules that are accepted and expected behavior. Personal space is the buffer zone we like to maintain around our bodies. Memes are self-replicated ideas, fashions, and innovations passed from person to person. A gender role is a set of expected behaviors for males and for females. Gender identity is one's sense of being male or female. Gender typing is the accusation of a traditional masculine or feminine role. These are all types of nurture of gender. Social learning theory assumes that children learn gender-linked behaviors by observing and imitating and by being rewarded or punished. These types of behaviors are also called gender-typed behaviors. Gender schema theory, which also combines social learning theory with cognition. Out of your struggles to comprehend the world came concepts or schemas, including a schema for your own gender. Gender became a lens through which you view your experiences. This type of thinking is also called gender organized thinking or gender typed behavior. The end.